What is good, everybody? Welcome in. We are live. This is another episode of Major Push Wrestling Talk Show, number 40. Wow, we've been doing 40 of these things already? Oh, man.
Congrats.
Okay, so we got ourselves a full Brady bunch of great wrestling minds and fans here. And we'll just throw it around to our introduction, and we're going to get right into it because we got a good show planned for you. And I know that there's a good show.
Wrestling, and we have an interesting weekend still to go. So,
yes, we do. Yes, we do. That's one of the things we're going to talk about. Actually, is weekend to weekend stuff. But we'll get into that. Dave, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Gino. Thanks for having me. Good to see all the no DQites around. And it's good to have Evan with us tonight. And this is going to be great topics. And we look forward now to the international swing of WWE.
Yes, it's going to be very exciting. I do enjoy when they're international. Those crowds really do make the show even better. So speaking of making the show even better, we've got Oofman here with his camera on. Shocker. How you doing, Oofman?
Yeah, baby, I am live here with you guys. Excited with the topics. Like you said, we had crazy wrestling, very good wrestling this past weekend, and more wrestling this weekend. So bring it on, I say.
Yes, sir. We're going to talk about most of that and a few things more. Now, joining us for the very first time, writer, editor, producer, director, author. I don't know if I missed anything. Hopefully I didn't. Evan Ginsberg is with us. Evan, how are you doing today, man?
I'm good. Happy to be on with you guys. Good to see some of you. I haven't seen you in a while, like since yesterday.
All right. This is
Absolutely. Yeah. And as always, big shout out to No DQ for helping bring all of us together. It's been great. Now we've been able to meet in person and do these types of things. I make a yearly trip up to New York. I hope to be able to see Oofman and maybe even Evan when I get up there. At the new year. But we're going to get right into the nitty gritty. This past weekend, we had one amazing event. It's all subjective. And then we had one, I believe it was called Saturday Night's Mid-Event from Virtue last night.
Yes.
Which is very much just like a wrestling heavy episode of TV. Some of the things I enjoyed, some of them I didn't, but we try to stay positive on this show because there's so much negative out there in the space, but I just can't escape this fury that builds up inside of me when WWE does basically 2 premium live events 2 weeks in a row. Like, you don't have the opportunity. I mean, it was done a little bit better this time. But the Royal Rumble, nobody was even talking about declaring for the Royal Rumble until Saturday Night's Main Event was over. So that gave them 2 shows, 1 week to build towards the Royal Rumble after Saturday Night's Main Event. So it's twice this year that they've had a Saturday Night's Main Event and then a pay-per-view the following week or a premium live event. Pardon me. Just got done waxing poetic about how awesome the pay-per-view of AEW was. So I want to see what your guys' thoughts are about this. If WWE is really not going to have 7 to 10 matches on a card, and people were talking about during the Vince era, there's not enough people. They're not getting their opportunity to be on television or whatever the case is. But now there's a lot more events and there's a lot more opportunity for people elsewhere on the card to be on these events, right? So maybe I'm not seeing the positive in that aspect, or maybe I am, I don't know. But for me, it's just really frustrating when they're not spaced out. We had like what felt like an eternity between Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, and then we have barely a second to even break down the previous event before we have to get to the new event. So I'm going to throw it right over to Evan. Evan, is the existence of Saturday Night's Main Event on the whole, whether it's a week prior to a premium live event or whether it's just somewhere in between, is it ruining the WWE's premium live events?
No, I basically enjoyed it because Penta and Ethan Page had a quality match, and the tag match was excellent. I could have lived without both of the women's matches. They were nothing special.
Mhm.
As an old school fan who is not particularly invested in too many of the WWE storylines, ultimately I just want to see quality wrestling, and two of the matches delivered just that. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than WrestleMania Night 1. That was a horrible show for the most part, with the exception of maybe Gunther's match, and even that had a screw job finish. So yeah, I mean, I don't need to see wrestling every night of the week. There are other things in life. As you get older, you realize there's more to life than just pro wrestling. But
Sure.
Man.
if the event is good and the matches are good, I'm okay with it, honestly.
Okay, and I like that perspective, and that's why we're very happy to have Evan on. He's got the wealth of knowledge. He's experienced. He's worked in the industry for a while. Like for a while, for decades.
Yeah.
You know, I'm underselling that.
Yeah.
Underselling, over delivering on it. But yeah, you know, I appreciate that perspective, right? Like any opportunity we can have to get these people in front of us and to even be given one match, especially since I'm paying for Peacock regardless, because it's got television shows and movies and the things that my family and things are watching. So I have that. I don't have to pay any extra. So might as well have something to do on a Saturday night than not having something to do. It's not like I am, you know, a little older, longer in the tooth. I don't really like going out to the bars until 3 a.m. like I used to. So it's nice to have something to watch. It's, you know, so I get that perspective. I'm interested to see what everybody else thinks.
Let me just say one other quick thing. Ironically, I thought it was the best Saturday night main event that they've had, because even though the stars weren't as big, they were more mid-card guys. You know, the matches were better. The other Saturday night main events, the matches were rushed. I mean, they were 5, 6, 7 minutes. And also, I noticed on Peacock, the commercials came before and after the matches rather than interrupting them, which is a huge improvement. Big difference.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when it was on NBC, which granted gets it more eyeballs, they were still doing this whole interrupting the flow of the match by throwing it to commercial. And I've talked about even picture in picture it's better, but it's not. It's like, come on, like they would never dare do that during any of the boxing stuff, any of the UFC stuff, any of the MVP promotion stuff, any football, and they just wouldn't do that. Like, factor the breaks into your show, because nothing says fake like we can take a 5-minute break during their performance. So it's just frustrating for sure. So having it switch to Peacock, there's no excuse that they should ever be breaking up the matches again. And frankly, there's no excuse to be breaking them up during Netflix either. But that's a whole nother topic for another Wednesday. Now I'm going to throw it over to Oofman. I can see him blinking, so it looks like his camera is fixed. Oofman, what do you think? You know, quality or lack of quality notwithstanding, is Saturday night's main event existing kind of hurting the premium live events that are following or following it?
Well, I don't think it's hurting it. It's just like what you said and Evan said as well. I think it's all into scheduling and what kind of matches you're going to have. Because like I was the number one, you can cheap plug, go back to my videos, especially my episode on the road to WrestleMania, the gap from storyline wise from the Rumble to Mania and then Chamber to Mania. You had Raw and SmackDown trying to tell stories, but the one that was lacking and hurting at the time was Raw, because you had the Rumble all the way at the end of January, and then Roman and Punk were just, to take a word I use, gabbing from January all the way to April. Yeah, Punk had a match. Yeah, thank you. Punk had a match in there with Finn, but again, all right, we know that Roman won the Rumble. He challenged Punk, but like I said, we had from January to their match was until April, so February and March, and with Mania being mid-April, you had 2.5 months of stalling basically, and then the WWE title kind of suffered too, but not really, because once the Chamber was out of the way, then they had the title match the following SmackDown that got a little attention. So they just have to do much better job pacing their shows. Saturday night's main event, have it if there is a month you don't have a PLE, then do Saturday night's main event. build it up pretty good so you get the eyeballs on there. And yeah, from what I'm reading from especially you guys on your reviews or your thoughts on the show, it felt better on Peacock than it did on NBC. But again, that's live network television. It works differently than streaming. But I just think they need to pace the shows better where if they, and plus, was this needed this past Saturday's main event? I personally going to vote for no, because you had Sol and Becky, and now you're going to have Sol and Becky again. So is this Clash in Italy, or is this Clash Revenge of Saturday Night's Main Event, or Clash in Italy Saturday Night's Main Event Part 2? It's just, it was not needed. Or were they trying to steal somebody's thunder from Double or Nothing this past? Who knows, whatever the case may be. But I say keep Saturday Night's Main Event. There's nothing wrong with it. Just hype it up, kind of like they did back in the day, but do it on a night or a weekend or a month, actually, when there is no PLE, whether it's WWE themselves or the other guys or anyone, and go, okay, there's a hole to fill here with a somewhat premium live event or a really good show, then throw in Saturday Night's Main Event. I know we're all Monday morning quarterbacking here, but just use it when needed. Don't use it because you want to. And again, we all know the color that TKO loves. Use it when needed or called for. And again, you guys went to Backlash on the 9th of May. Then we had Saturday Night's Main Event this past Saturday. And now we have Clash in Italy this Sunday. A little too much. Again, there was no meaning for it. You could have done those on Raw or SmackDown, eliminate Saturday Night's Main Event, get us hyped for Clash in Italy, which I kind of am, but I just think use Saturday Night's Main Event when needed, when it's called for, not just to do it, I say.
Thank you very much. So I've heard this said online, rematch in Italy, because every match is a rematch, whether it was last year or previous premium live event. But I think you said it best there. It feels like Saturday Night's Main Event exists to be thrust into the schedule to counter program AEW events, which is difficult because AEW is doing their events on Sunday, and it's called Saturday Night's Main Event, so you couldn't even shoehorn it in on a Sunday if you wanted to. So it kind of bites them in the butt there. But nobody's we're talking about, Saturday Night's Main Event. Yeah, it delivered the Ethan Page and Penta match. I thought that the finish of that should have gone the other way. It delivered the tag match at the end of the night. I thought the finish of that should have gone the other way, especially now that we know what's happened. But nobody's really, we had Monday Night Raw most recently. Nobody's talking about Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. And so if they're doing this to get the conversation about WWE, they failed. Not because of maybe of their shortcomings, but because of AEW delivering a great event, whether it had uber classic matches or not. Like Evan said last night, probably didn't, but the event is what people are talking about. I'm seeing non-AEW fans all over the internet. My feed is now getting more AEW stuff. Like, I'm about it. I'm so about it. And yeah, so I'm thinking that the only thing that they could realistically do to get the talking points back into WWE would be to have Jacob Fatu go over and Gunther go over, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yes, Ufman.
Just to add what you said and what I kind of said, yeah, as far as having rematch and all that, then to get that weird feeling of rematches out of the way, especially for your pay-per-view, then why don't do Saturday Night's Main Event like they did this past Saturday, then 2 weeks later, PLE, have Saturday Night's Main Event filled with the people that are not in the pay-per-view. Then it'll give them some time to shine. They're on Peacock. There's a bunch of eyes around them. So if you're not, let's say you're not booked on the PLE that's coming up, all right, then maybe book them on Saturday Night's Main Event and then leave the PLE for quote unquote the big names or the big matches. So you even out little the stars that you want to see. Oh, let's just say Matt Cardona's on Saturday Night's Main Event. Cool. And then you get the Roman Reignses and the Punks and all them on the PLE. That's just another reason, if you're going to shoot, like I said, if you're going to shoehorn in Saturday Night's Main Event in between these PLEs, and do that. Show the people that are not shown a lot or the up-and-comers on Saturday Night's Main Event. Obviously, you have the hype videos and packages. Talk about the PLE to hype the PLE up, and then you have the PLE with the megastar.
Yeah. Unfortunately, though, those hype videos and those video packages aren't being shown to us because we're getting commercials.
Exactly.
That's that part of that. Well, it's not a pay-per-view. It's a television program on streaming service. But Matthew said it. Gunther, Oba, and Jacob would all have to win, but currently Roman, Brock, and Cody are the betting odds favorites. Like, I don't know. Like, this is they got a lot of stars on this show, and I'm not being a salty American when I say this, but they're gonna show up regardless. So it feels like you didn't need all this star power to bring people in the door. I would venture to guess that event sold out, being the first premium live event or pay-per-view taking place in Italy. I bet that thing sold out before any match was announced. Just like I bought my tickets for Backlash before even WrestleMania happened. But I'm going to throw it on over to Noah here. Noah, the thought behind my topic today was that they're just too close together, and it kind of hurts the build for both of them. And do you feel like Saturday night's main event, if they do it right, it doesn't hurt the PLEs, but the way they're doing it right now might be hurting them? What do you think?
Absolutely. I think that placement is everything, especially when it comes to how you manage, prioritize, and promote a show, but also try and push other stories forward that can't be on that show. Let's be honest here. Saturday's main event didn't push nothing forward for Clash in Italy. It pushed a Monday Night Raw narrative across the tag divisions, both men and women, respectfully. It was forgettable. It's one of those things where if this wasn't necessarily like right back where Clash in Italy was, okay, maybe just turn it to a Raw Super Show and use the commercial breaks to promote Clash in Italy, but still put the focus on other things. I can understand them trying to look at other avenues here because you can't put everything on one show, nor should you try to. But I feel like Saturday night's main event should have been used as a catalyst, a go-home angle towards your big PLE in a way. If nothing else, bridge towards it. If you're not going to use it towards that, then yeah, definitely don't do them back-to-back weekends. I always felt that Saturday's main event was supposed to be something special to carry forward some of the biggest storylines, whether it's through an angle or through a match. I think back in the days when they had the Gorilla Monsoon position, of course, and had the interviews at the stage, they don't even do that anymore. It just felt like to me like I was just watching another episode of Monday Night Raw Soft. And to Evan's point, yes, Penta and Ethan was an incredible match. Yes, the women tag, they had an awesome match. Cool leverage idea to survive against the irresistible forces. Becky and Sol could have literally took place on Monday Night Raw, and you're going to book the match right there. We didn't need to waste the 5 minutes that those fans were looking forward to paying harder money to maybe see Becky and Sol if you were going to shortchange them like that. At least with TV, you can get away with it more often. As far as the other stuff, honestly, it just felt unredeeming, honestly. It was unmemorable. It was extra. And I understand that some TV can be extra, but if you have this much power in your marketing to market your talent, let alone your shows, why not use it to your fullest benefit versus just trying to keep the bottom dollar for every lame-brained third-party advertisement? It was pathetic. I really want to see Saturday's main event recapture that magic of making the PLE feel special or making next week's television feel like it's worth tuning into. Saturday's main event didn't either.
Thank you so much, Noah. Yeah, I mean, it really didn't. I mean, the only thing that's even building to Clash would have been the DQ finish, because now there's going to be an Intercontinental Championship match after the Saturday night's main event thing. And I was honestly fine with the DQ finish, even though if I was there live, I would be pretty upset. But it doesn't, like, they're not playing off each other. They're almost like oil and water, and they're just existing on like two different planes. And it doesn't feel like synergistic at all, to your point. So thank you very much for that, Noah. We're going to go ahead and we're going to throw it over to Dave. Dave, what are your thoughts as somebody who's been to a recent premium live event? Like, do you like this freaking month? So we've got our third event this month so far. At least it's on a Sunday now, so that's a change. But
and
what
it's
do you
early,
think?
and it's early, unlike AEW. But I'm gonna piggyback on Noah a little bit, and yeah, I mean, I know Evan said they were good matches, but honestly, and I mentioned it in the chat from the review on Tuesday that I mean, other than Penta and Ethan Page, after Aaron's review, I didn't really go back and watch it. And to your point, it should not be back to back unless, like Noah said, unless it's a lead into the PLE. But what I think should happen is that am I still choppy? You guys are saying?
No, we're talking about Uthman, but keep it going.
Okay. Oh, okay. But the thing is, and Aaron brought it up on a good point on the review Tuesday last night. That if they were going to have this main event, they should have had it at the end of March, in between, right or before WrestleMania, because there was so much time between that and the last pay-per-view. That's I think that's too much, and it caused. And we didn't have a lot of the main people, probably because some of them had already gone towards Italy for promotion for everything, and I just think it was too much. And this PLE setup good, but yeah, you can't have back-to-back weeks like that. Three main things in one month is too much.
Yeah, I agree, and that's kind of what made me want to talk about this, just because they're too close together. I mean, I have no problem with them existing, even though the topic might feel like I do, to Evan's point, but they just need to be spaced out. We don't need 3 events in 1 month. It doesn't make up for the fact that we had to trudge through a month and a half long build to WrestleMania. Like, there's got to be something that can be done. Matthew, I'm going to throw it over to you now. What are your thoughts? Saturday night's main event ruining Clash in Italy because it was only last week. We haven't even digested it, really.
Accurate.
I mean, it's a mixed thing. You know, we were at Saturday night's main event last year, you know, almost a year to the day. And, you know, that was right after a late Mania and before Backlash. So they flipped it around this time. And that was, you know, overall good. You know, there were a few bad matches. And then the last good Saturday night's main event was Cena's final, you know, event. And, you know, you had Oba have a big showcase, Soul have a big showcase, and Javon and Leon Slater have a great showcase. And then I'm with Evan. I didn't mind Saturday night's main event last week, but I do feel that instead of doing Saturday night's main event instead of 2 pay-per-views, they should have given us a 6th match for Backlash and maybe give us a 6th match for Clash in Italy, because it kind of makes up for the 2 good matches, the 2 really good matches we got with Penta and Ethan Page and the men's tag match. And then it also kind of hurt, you know, the entire Saturday night's main event. They're hyping up, the IC title and the tag titles have only ever changed hands once in the entire history of Saturday night's main event. And then they don't have either title change hands. And after hearing about Logan, they should have pulled the trigger. But I think Saturday night's main event needs to be one of those, if there is downtime, like that gap between Mania or the Rumble, Elimination Chamber, and Mania, or, you know, like they do after, you know, Survivor Series. Then there's nothing until I think the Rumble now. So they kind of use the Saturday night's main event to kind of fill in while the talent can still get rest. But yeah, I mean, it has its place, but I agree with kind of both sides. You know, I felt the show was good, but it could have been more matches for the 2 pay-per-views that were thrown in, you know, instead of being in between.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Matthew. Evan, did you have your hand up there?
Yeah, ultimately, it's overkill. There's too much wrestling. We just saw a great AEW pay-per-view, 5 hours. Do we really need 3 hours tonight more of AEW? It's not going to compare to the pay-per-view on Sunday.
Facts.
So, you know, there's just endless live wrestling on TV. And after a while, you can't even absorb it all. I mean, it's too much. So I enjoy
play
it. If it's great, I enjoy it. If it's just okay, it's killing time.
Yeah, exactly.
play-
There needs to be a happy balance of quantity and quality, not just in one company, but across the industry. But with everything being so accessible, and you can literally put any sort of content you want, if you're especially the WWE that can buy any sort of time slot, it almost makes your product feel underwhelming under the greatest circumstances. Like you said, Clash of Italy, rematch. But it's the biggest stars. But right now, nobody is talking about it. So what did Saturday Night's main event and what did this past weekend's cause and effect from the other company that you don't deem competition really do for you with this premium live event that might add to Gino's point is your second PLE in the same freaking month? It's too much, it's too close, and it's underwhelming in the freaking build. I pray the execution surpasses even the lowest expectations and means something more towards SummerSlam season. They need to bring back that sort of feeling of genuine interest for everybody, not just the casual consumer.
I agree. I believe Oofman and then Dave, and then we'll wrap up this topic and get to our major push topic of the week.
Yeah, just to play devil's advocate, when AEW on Wednesdays go 3 hours, it's because of the scheduling with sports. So I don't think Tony Khan is licking his chops going, all right, I got a 3-hour show. It's rare. It does happen. Is it too much? Sure. But to defend that, again, call me the AEW guy, that's fine. But that's the defense there, that the weekend is booked, or they don't want, or if there is a PLE or a WWE event, they'll be like, all right, let's just do a 3-hour block of 2 hours Dynamite, 1 of Collision, unlike Fridays where it's SmackDown for 3 hours. But the good news, I guess, is come the summer, it's going to go back down to 2. But then there you kind of go with the company, like, man, you kind of I feel a little sympathy for the company there, because it's like, all right, it seems like half a year they're 3 hours and half a year they're 2. They're cutting the roster, they're calling people up, and they're just, again, I think the ultimate subject, the common denominator that we're all talking about, is finding a happy medium for everyone, and that just seems to be the struggle. Can everybody find a happy medium? And I think the answer is no, because just with the way streaming services are, again, the parent companies are changing things, demanding things. I don't think we'll ever get a happy medium. The days of back in the day of WCW and WWF, 1 pay-per-view a month, I think those days are over, unfortunately. I think they think we want more, but sometimes less is more.
Amen to that. And again, the 3-hour thing, at least it wasn't like 10 years in a row. And even with the conflicts, here's the nice thing about this 3-hour block. They break it up. It's still Dynamite. It's just 1 hour Collision taxed on top of it. And you actually have a choice with your feed to follow up, tune into it. Sometimes I don't tune into the extra hour of Collision. I just tune into the Dynamite, and that's it, because there's so much more in media than just feeding wrestling 24/7/65, to the point you literally might burn yourself out of this business altogether. I know I nearly have.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dave, did you want to add something, or can we move on?
Yeah, I just want to add something. And I hope maybe my speakerphone's working better than my headphones were, but I just wanted to back Noah because I got caught up and forgot what I was going to say. But it's like Oofman said, we can't go back to the old time. Just like from what I remember the main event when it began, it's nowhere near that anymore. And like Noah said, they stopped even doing the interviews at the top of the stage and everything, introduction at the top of the stage when they first had Jesse Ventura on. It just is not the same, and it does just look like maybe an elevated Raw or SmackDown at this point. And if they're not going to go back, if they can't go back to at least making it look special, maybe they shouldn't have it when the contract expires for it.
Thank you very much, Dave. And with that down, guys, we're on to our major push topic of the week. Now, this isn't the topic that we're just going to be discussing maybe recent goings on. This is one of the topics we'll throw out here. It's subjective, and we're going to get right into it. So stay tuned and look forward to more of these types of topics to close out our shows. So with all the stuff that's been going on whether it's injuries, whether it's top guys in one company being too old, whether it's top guys in the other company being bred through their company and homegrown guys, whether it's whatever it is, 3-hour blocks of time, 9 hours, 12 hours of wrestling a week, yada, 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 yada. We all want wrestling to be good, and we all want to enjoy it. Now, for wrestling to be good, or for anything to be good, there needs to be either passing of the torches or a future built up so that 5, 7, 10 years from now, we have something to still be excited about. Now, I want to know whether it's a male or a female. You can only choose one, not both, a male or a female. Who do you guys feel is the future of professional wrestling? If you had to bet on one person based on what the information we have now, we've got stuff like Oba. He might lose to Brock on Sunday and get squashed and ruin all of his momentum. Trick Williams has been given things like the gingerbread man to potentially kill his momentum. They're not booking guys like Dom and Braun's injury prone and all these types of things. So I hope I didn't take maybe the names that you were going to say, but 5 to 10 years from now, whether it's main eventing WrestleMania, whether it's main eventing AEW premium live pay-per-views, whatever it is, who is going to be the future of professional wrestling as it states right now to the best of your predictable knowledge? And speaking of predictable and predictions, I'm going to throw it over to the two guys who got all of the AEW predictions 100% correct. We're going to throw it over to the simple man, Noah Foster, first. Noah, who is your one, male or female, professional future of professional wrestling?
I feel like the future is now when you ask that question, because I feel like we've already seen the future being written as we know it or continue to be reshaping. I'd be hard-pressed to not pick Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF. Generational talent, 3-time AEW world champion. He's proven that he can work any style. He's willing to work any style, despite the fact his character breeds criticism for many of them, but that's how he draws you in. Maybe kayfabe is a blur with him, and somehow, some way, he continues to follow that fine line between being absolutely hated, but still absolutely loved and respected. And it doesn't matter necessarily whether he's against a heavyweight, whether he's against a cruiserweight, whether he's against somebody that's in the death matches, bleeding profusely, or whether somebody can actually go bell to bell technically with him. He's able to shape any style that he can with any opponent inside the ring, while also bringing forth any sort of promo against them. For me, I think MJF has proven an entirety growth of professional development since being involved in AEW. This braggadocious, young, egotistic, brash, arrogant, naturally tan, self-absorbed, young little child growing into this man, disciplined for his own sins, literally broken in half, brought in by a baby face, still loved, catered, and invested by the fans. It's one of those things, though, that I feel like MJF right now, you literally define AEW by him. Why John Moxley helped maybe shape the landscape from a name value, I think MJF is truly one of the originals from the business that has only escalated its value. He's always stood true to it. He's always stood true to what it could represent and what it means to be an alternative to professional wrestling and a wrestler's development. We don't have superstars in AEW. We have professional wrestlers, and MJF calls himself the best professional wrestler on the planet. So for me, the future of pro wrestling right now, I put MJF at the forefront.
Thank you very much, Noah. Before I throw it on to somebody else, do you think he can remain that if he never or doesn't go to WWE?
I honestly think he can. I think he's one of those guys that could spearhead not only as a locker room leader, but also as a creative influence when it comes to here's the type of people that you should be pushing in this spot or given a chance. Here's the type of person you should stay away from because they have a selfish catering to their own circumstance. They don't care about the growth here. They only care about their own monetary gain or protecting their own identity. And I don't want that. You could probably see the thing about MJF with his character, but I think it was very spoken out when he talked about that promo back in the Fabulous Forum, the Kia Forum against one CM Punk, when it came to what Tony Khan may have been catering to, much like the WWE, versus what AEW was originally trying to be. Back then, something stuck out in my mind about MJF that constantly kept me invested in him. And I'm glad I have. I truly think AEW can thrive on MJF for the rest of the brand's lifetime, no matter whatever circumstance they face, as long as he's involved in it in some capacity. I really think so.
Thank you very much for that, Noah. So, yes, I was mistaken. So it was 3+ Noah that got them 100% correct. So I'll throw it over to Uthman now. Uthman, for you, are you along with Noah, or do you see potentially somebody else as the future of professional wrestling?
No, I 1,000,000,000% stand with Noah there and MJF. My pick after the Rumble, this year, I was very, very impressed with Sol Ruca. I heard of her. I know some of you guys were talking about her from NXT. And then at the Rumble this year, she was looking really good. She has this Lita-ish thing going with her, and which I like. I mean, I am probably among, and everybody else here, I was a monster Lita mark back in the day. Still am today. Met her, sweet. She's a sweetheart.
Aw.
But the way she just shows herself off and the clothes, she has the Hardy's Lita type look thing. Unfortunately, lately she's been botching her finisher from what I've been seeing. But even if you eliminate that, just give her more. I say give her more time. I guess spoiler warning for tomorrow. I don't see her winning on Sunday. I think it's too soon. I'm getting personally tired with the call-ups or brand new people or the debuts and then getting thrown into a title match. All companies are guilty of this. AEW did it with Ciampa. He debuted. Boom. He's got a TNT title match. Boom. He wins. And then what? 2 weeks later, he loses the belt. Like what? Now, so Ruca, she finally signs her Raw contract. She's feuding with Becky. Cool. Then now, maybe less than a couple weeks after her signing of her Raw contract, she's got an IC title match. She hasn't even won on Raw yet, and we're going to put the title on her. Again, early spoiler alert, I think they are. I think it's wrong, but again, it's just my prediction for tomorrow and for Sunday. So, but I'm still going to stick with Sol Ruca. She's going to be one to watch out for. The fans are going to be totally behind her. Again, she's got the look that WWE's looking for. Again, she's got that Lita-esque look. And Lita was phenomenal back in the day, whether face or heel, she worked it perfectly. So I'm going to say in 5 years or so, Sol Ruca is going to be the leader of the women's division. And she's getting her feet wet. The training wheels are going to come off, and it's going to take some time. Again, she's just thrusted into the spotlight right now, and good for her. And she's working with a pro like Becky. So my votes, and like I said, I 100% agree with Noah there. But as far as women go, I'm going to put my vote on Sol Ruca, where maybe in a couple years, it's the big women's title match at WrestleMania or the SummerSlam, and she's going to be headlining with whoever the champion is, or maybe she'll be the unstoppable force in the women's division.
I respect the heck out of that. When I was writing the show, part of me wanted to select a female, and Sol is really the only one that I could see, at least on WWE's side. And for a while, I've had this vibe about her that she's like Trish and Lita combined, which can there be any bigger compliment to a up-and-coming woman than that? My issue,
streaks, but yeah, I definitely see the Lita extremist in her for sure.
Yeah, with with those pants that she wears, like they're not cargo pants, but there's some word for them. They're very similar. I wanted to pick her, but for me, what stopped it the most is the start to her main roster stuff hasn't been good. The Soul Snatchers haven't been really good. They're not booking her to win any matches. And at the end of the day, for you to be the future, the company has to do something positive with you. And I'm sure she will be beating Becky for the title and things like that. But, and it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But I feel like there could have been a lot better choices to have done with her booking wise to this point. But they're not really booking any of the women really that strong right now in WWE. But so thank you so much, Uthman. I appreciate that. We're going to throw it over to Dave. Dave, now, who are you going to pick? Dwayne thinks nobody's going to say Kyle Fletcher, so he's mentioning Kyle Fletcher. I thought maybe we might hear it. It is a great one. But what do you think, Dave?
Well, you might like my decision. Other people might disagree with it. But there's another wrestler that reminds us of an old-time wrestler that I really liked watching, Booker T. I think Trick.
Wow.
The gingerbread man aside, Trick looks like Booker T when he wrestles. He probably was trained by him, but he can talk. He sets good promos. It looks like I don't see botches with his matches. I haven't, at least, unless I missed it. And he has the charisma that Booker T had. And I really liked Booker T when he first came up, even when he was a tag team with his brother, the Harlem Heat. When they put Booker T on his own, he skyrocketed. And I just see a lot of him in Trick. And I really like Trick. And I think he could be, in 5 years, he could be really something with the company.
I have been an unabashed Trick Williams fan for a while now. You're not going to hear me complain about that. The only thing is, less like with Sol Ruca, like, what are they doing? Like Lil Yachty, whatever, I have no problem with that. But this gingerbread man stuff and having him have to mourn that, I honestly did not even watch that whole segment on SmackDown. And I usually watch the shows, maybe not live, but start to finish regardless, because I like to feel the flow of the show. I think that's important.
But in the heyday, we saw Rock in weird situations. We saw Stone Cold, and it didn't mess them up. I mean, you could see no matter what, the popularity for Trick is there. And regarding Soul, I feel like you, Gino, the beginning of the main events, since she's been on the main roster with the botches, it hasn't been a good start for her. I think she'll survive it. But I really think to get to Uthman's point, yeah, you shouldn't have people winning right off the bat coming up as a championship. But I'll call out and make a shout out to our buddy JJ Williams, who had a great article in No DQ today, his first one. Becky shouldn't have that title. They had it set up where really they could have gone so many different ways. And he mentioned some great points in that article. I think Becky's below that. I think she should be back in the world title picture somewhere.
I completely agree, but obviously they're not having her do that. And honestly, the Intercontinental title feels like the most important women's title because Becky holds it. And I honestly I love Becky. I think she's the best woman in the company.
Oh, yeah.
Over Rhea, over Bianca, and all that stuff. So her being involved in something is better than her just being on the sidelines. So, but we'll have to see. But the thing is, back then, and Evan and some of you guys can attest to this, like everything now is living online. Like Soul's quote unquote botch, the gingerbread man stuff, all the stuff that was said about that's all exists right now. It stays there. There wasn't this internet presence. There wasn't this YouTube presence for everybody to break things down. So like that is going to exist. And who knows, maybe the future also involves potentially new fans or younger fans. And maybe they do some research and they see all this stuff and they're like, I don't want to get behind somebody that blah, blah, blah. So we'll see what happens. So I'm going to throw it over to Evan now. Speaking of Evan, I'm curious to see what you think about this. Who, male or female, do you see as the future of the company or the industry as a whole? And I'd venture to guess that it's not Braun Breaker.
It's not Braun Breaker. That's true. I would go with Logan Paul. Now, why, pray tell? He's a total package. He could wrestle, he could brawl, he could fly. He has incredible charisma. He could cut promos. He gets real heel heat. And he has this unbelievable social, reach, which WWE tends to fixate on. Ideally, I would say MJF, but I think MJF is too smart for the business. I think he has one foot out the door already. He wants to be a movie star like The Rock and make hundreds of millions of dollars and not destroy his body. I think MJF eventually is going to leave for greener pastures because, I think he's the best. Well, actually, I would think, Will Ospreay's the best in the business right now, but his body's going to break down.
That's why I didn't pick him. I'm worried about his body.
Yeah. So I'm going with Logan Paul. I think the guy can do it all. And assuming his injury, he comes back to 100%. But yeah, I always go with my gut, and that's what my gut tells me.
And to Will Ospreay's credit, even if his body breaks down, he still has a mind for the business to get back and cater to it. He's one of the biggest reasons there is such a revigoration in the UK scene for Pro Wrestling Eve, for Rev Pro, for other promotions and connections that his family knows. So even if he doesn't necessarily be a long-term ace of AEW, he could definitely be a driving influence of the wrestling scene in and out of AEW and the UK.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, you guys are all making great points. Logan Paul he has all the tools, as we've discussed. And, there's this injury might set him back. I mean, obviously, how could it not? But with his reach, with his outside things that he's got going on, what he can do inside the ring, his fearlessness and comfortability on the mic, his lack of any real botches, anything like that, we'll have to see. He needs the world title sooner rather than later. I think that the longer they wait to pull the trigger on that, the less seriously we can take them. I mean, in the 2000s, we had Brock Lesnar, your Randy Ortons, Cena, guys who were young, who were given the ball and running with it. I hate this humble culture that, oh, well, you got to lose some matches. You got to do this. You got to do that. Like, no, build stars. Look at Paige. But we got C-Rod in the chat.
Hey.
And somebody in the chat is saying it's definitely Braun Breaker and had some maybe not so kind words. So we're not going to display that. But if you think it's Braun Breaker, fine. But like Evan said, show me a classic Braun Breaker wrestling match. His best match was against Seth, and Seth carried him throughout that entire match.
And interference carried him through victory.
Yeah, he might be the future, as in he's going to be booked strong. He's going to be doing all of these things. But at the end of the day, you have to have fans behind you, and nothing says pick me, please, like writing the word badass on your attire. So we'll have to see. Maybe
Simply put, he doesn't deliver great matches, and he's been there over 5 years. You can't just say, oh, he's a kid, he's young. At some point, you have to deliver, and he hasn't yet.
He's had stronger matches in NXT, to your point, Evan. And like we talk about, to deliver in this business, you got to have all the tools in the ring and on the mic. Both make you. One or the other could literally stall you. I'm not going to say one or the other breaks you, but if you don't have that balance, you will basically be in mid-card haven.
Logan Paul's delivered great matches, and he's consistently good and very good.
But they keep putting him in this spot for some reason.
He definitely could be the top heel in the company. There's no doubt about with the heat. Evan's right about that. He has major heat on him. It would be, and he can wrestle. He took to wrestling. He like any other people that came in, he preached it, and it was great.
I mean, Gunther's consistently great, but he's 40 years old, so I don't see him as the future. Logan Paul's in his 20s. So.
Yeah,
right.
We need people.
I also don't see him winning the title Sunday, advanced prediction. But for now, I got our business to go to. So in the meantime, arrivederci.
All right, Noah, thanks so much. We'll plug you at the end here. And so, yeah, we got C-Rod shouting out to Logan Paul. Vinny is in the chat. Vinny, what's good, bro? Always a pleasure to see you. Oba versus Braun could be a night 2 WrestleMania main event. It could, absolutely. But I don't believe that it would be like a banger match like Reigns and Punk was. It does have this, if they build them up right, it does have this potentially star power. But, you're saying Oba and Braun in the future. Oba, so nobody's mentioned Oba, but Matthew still has the opportunity to go. Matthew, what do you think? People are mentioning Lash Legend, Braun Breaker, Oba Femi. Those are some of the names not mentioned. Jacob Fatu. So what do you think, Matthew?
Well, I was kind of torn because I've got 2 names that I could think of, one from 2 different shows, but I'm sure I can't really say them both. So as much as I want to say Oba, I just don't know if it's going to be him yet. A lot of that will depend on what happens this weekend. But really, to me, it's a guy that I've actually very much enjoyed in AEW that finally is getting his time to shine, and that's Takeshita. He's a guy who has now beaten Omega, Ospreay, and Okada. 3 of the self-proclaimed greatest wrestlers of all time, and this kid has finally done it. Now he just has to beat Moxley to kind of, I think, beat the 4 horsemen of AEW. But I think Tony Khan needs to build more around him. He, much like Fletcher, are the future more than I think even MJF. They've got a look. They're great in almost any type of promotion. Takeshita's had great stuff in New Japan and already won the IWGP title, even though it was a very short reign. But I think he is the future, especially for AEW, more than MJF and maybe even more than Ospreay. And he's, I think, younger than Ospreay. And just, he looks great for a Japanese guy. He's built, he's tall, he's muscular, can cut a pretty good promo in English too. And I mean, I know it probably got to shock people that I'm picking an AEW guy over a WWE guy, but for me, it's Takeshita, I think, is one of the futures of the business. And if, he comes, I don't know if he would do as well in WWE, but Tony needs to pull the trigger on him in AEW. And within the next year or two, put the AEW World title on him.
Absolutely. His showing on Sunday was outstanding. And the question wasn't who's the future of the WWE, even though anybody in AEW could be in WWE in the future and vice versa. It was about who's the future of pro wrestling. And so I think that you answered that swimmingly. Leon Slater, shout out to him. He could have been picked. I'm surprised nobody's mentioning Dominic Mysterio. And I think that if we had this question a year ago, we'd all be saying Dominic Mysterio. But again, it comes down to the booking. They're not booking him properly. We want to boo him, but we also want to cheer him. And WWE's like, well, we're not going to put him on TV for you, so you can't do anything. Same thing. And then like Liv, she gets a new theme song, wins the title, doesn't do anything. Yeah, she's a little bit older, but like the WWE's booking of these people and this talent is borderline frustrating. And because of that, it's tough to really see somebody that I love like a Trick Williams, somebody that the people love like an Obafemi, somebody like the company loves in a Braun Breaker, somebody that the world loves in a Dominic Mysterio really going that far. And then, you got your Sol Rucas, you've got your things. Noah said it best. I mean, at the end of the day, I was going to pick MJF, but I think you're right, Evan. I really do think he's got one foot out the door. But everything I'm hearing him say, reasons why he stayed with AEW, all this type of stuff, is because he does love wrestling, and he thinks that AEW would be out of business if he wasn't there. I don't know. Maybe an argument could be made for that. So he feels like he's saving the industry by being in AEW instead of going over to WWE. And that's a bold take. But somebody with that type of mindset, I don't think would abandon AEW or abandon pro wrestling, unless he truly got like a lead role in a Game of Thrones style television series that's running year after year after year for 8 years or whatever, things like that. And he lives the gimmick too. So my pick coming into today was going to be Obafemi, with people like Dominic and Sol and Kyle Fletcher, Logan Paul in the background there. But I'm just super high, and obviously Trick Williams, but I don't know if WWE needs to humble all of their new talent that's getting over. Like, I thought when Vince left, it wasn't going to be this whole, I'm butthurt that my plan for you isn't working and you're getting over in spite of my booking and stuff. Like, I was hoping that would change. Clearly it doesn't look like it. But yeah, Matthew says Logan Paul's humble, and he is. Like, how could I be so good looking and still humble? Like, the theme song works, and I love a good theme song. So those are the types of things. So we have a lot to potentially be looking forward to, but it has to be handled well. There's been athletes throughout history that, had a great collegiate career and come out and have a rookie of the year campaign and then fall off. Like, these guys and gals got to keep their mentals right. They got to focus on the eyes on the prize. And unfortunately, it sucks to have to even mention this, but they got to keep their nose out of trouble. Like, look at Jimmy Uso. He's a better worker in the ring and a better talker on the mic than Jay, but he got in trouble with the drunk driving and whatever time and time again. And now he's getting insulted for being like low on the totem pole in the bloodline. And it's tough. Everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody's got a thing, but like, you can do things the right way and not have your career jeopardized, like a Kaiser situation, a Grande Americano. But I think we do have a lot to look forward to if the things are handled right, if they book these people correctly, because at the end of the day, you're only as strong as the presentation. Like, the last thing I'm going to say is an example based on comic books. C-Rod, we did a whole thing on the MCU. Some character can be great in comic books, but when you adapt them or make a movie about them, like, for example, Daredevil movie, I think if you take the teeter-totter scene out, it's a good movie, but it's there. And it was a laughing stock. And now you got this Netflix Daredevil and the Disney Daredevil, and it's top-notch stuff. So you really it's all about how you book it. It's all about how you present your characters. Jimmy is better than Jay, but the DUIs hurt him. Yeah. Like, why do we not have drivers for these people? Like, this is outrageous. Like, I don't understand, but it's decision-making. You got to make good choices. Nobody is above the company, I think, except for CM Punk. I think short of doing something that is super illegal and got him jail time, I think CM Punk could get away with, even if he had punched the guy instead of hit his phone out of his hand at the airport.
Gino, and I think Jimmy now, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I think Jimmy now having his first child, I think hopefully we don't see any more of that. And your guys are right. He really is a better talker than Jay. It's just a matter of what happened to him in the past.
Yeah, 100%. And, like, it's up to the talent, but there should be some things in place to kind of help them along. Like, you see, I know it's difficult because people are getting to their own locations separately. They're going home in between, things like that, where a sports team travels together, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, there's a lot to look forward to in wrestling, and we want to keep a positive outlook. That's why we're doing this. We want wrestling to be good. We want all the companies to be good, because when AEW puts on a banger event, you better believe it. WWE is hearing that and is potentially going to make Clash in Italy a potential banger show. Hopefully they pull the trigger on some stuff that should happen. If they have Gunther lose and they have Oba lose and they have Jacob lose, like, what are we doing? Why are we booking these matches, especially at an event like that where you don't need all this star power to get people in the doors? So we're going to go around now and do our final thoughts. We had Takeshita, Logan Paul, MJF, Sol Ruka, all people that we were looking forward to, Trick Williams. So there's a lot to look forward to. Throw it around. Evan, where can the people find you and all the great work that you do?
Thanks so much. I'm the senior editor over at Pro Wrestling Stories. I have a new piece in the Hulk Hogan documentary, Wrestling and Everything Coast to Coast podcast. Check out our films, 350 Days, and Wrestling Then and Now. Wrestling Then and Now stars Killer Kowalski. And my books, Wrestling Rings, Blackboards, and Movie Sets, 100 Stories about my juggling, my careers as a agent in pro wrestling, as a filmmaker, and my new book, Grindhouse, Odd House, and Wrestling Flicks, which is a deep dive into wrestlers in films and also wrestling films and the inside story of the making of the wrestler. I was the associate producer and I acted with Mickey Rourke in the film. So check out Grindhouse, Odd House, and Wrestling Flicks. You can find me on all social media. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, I'm going to be putting all the plugs in the description of the video. So if you want to find that, go support Evan and go support the other guys, and they'll tell you where they can find you. And then you can also scroll down to the description and go give them some love as well. Dave, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Facebook, nodq.com, obviously here. Gavin with Hoofman. Get to join him we had part 1 of the Monday Night Wars show the other night. That was very fun. Me and him and C-Rod had a great discussion about it. Thanks to you as usual, Gino, for including me in with Major Push Wrestling. It's great to have Evan come in now, and we're building something here, and it's all thanks to, again, Aaron for including us and inviting us into his family with No DQ. And it's coming to build great friendships and great discussions about wrestling as something that we all love to watch.
Yes, thank you so much, Dave, and shout out to No DQ as always for bringing us together. Absolutely. Matthew, where can the people find you?
I mean, I'm like Dave. Find me on Facebook, find me on No DQ, and find me usually here on Major Push. Every once in a while on the No DQ reviews. I'm almost always on the prediction panels. I know I'll be there tomorrow. I don't know if who else among us will be there, but
I got you, Matthew, with you.
But, just appreciate being part of this group, and it's hadn't let me get to meet Gino in person, Dave in person. Hopefully one day I'll meet Hoofman in person, and just glad to be part of this community that maybe we don't all agree, maybe we don't have all the same opinions, but we pretty much have respect for each other and we have a good time.
100%. And again, like we were saying, we all want wrestling to be good. So any critiques that we have, any complaints, any disagreements, it's all an effort to having wrestling look more like we want it to for the entertainment value. Shout out to Hoofman. Without him, none of this would be possible because we're using the StreamYard to do this live. So Hoofman, where can the people find you?
Yeah, again, Gino, thank you so much for having me on your show. Like Dave said, you can check out episode 24 tonight. In fact, in like an hour or so, 30 years ago tonight, Scott Hall made his grand return to WCW and declared war. So tonight, it is uploaded now on my channel, Gavin with Oof. Oof Entertainment presents my show, Gavin with Oof. Episode 24, we talk part 1 of the NWO 30th anniversary. It's been 30 years. I know, the great chin hair. 30 years ago that Scott Hall made his return. It's just part 1. Part 2 will come in 2 weeks when Scott Hall brings his big surprise. And we're building up to part 3 in July when Hulk Hogan did the unthinkable. But right now, check out episode 24 on there. Like Dave said, it's me, Dave, and C-Rod. Shout out to C-Rod. And we're discussing, again, 30 years ago of the Monday Night Wars. It was in its infancy as well. There was so many things in its infancy in 96. And the big one was just the beginning of what turned out to be one of the most historic events that changed the structure of professional wrestling in North America, at least, of those 3 spray painted letters. So check it out, episode 24 on my channel. And again, thank you so much, Gino, for having me on again.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate your opinions, your friendship, your knowledge, and everything. We look forward to doing many, 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 many more of these events and talking about the thing that we love, professional wrestling. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. It means a lot. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are at 963 subscribers. So share this video with a fellow wrestling fan. I appreciate all the panelists and everybody watching, whether live and on demand. It means the world. Don't forget to comment, and I will be responding to all those comments. So from Hoofman to Matthew to Dave to Evan, this has been Major Push Wrestling. And as always, we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.